Property values are up $1.1 million over a year ago. Is Longboat Key getting more expensive, or is something else going on? All right, let's dig into the numbers. Hey everyone, I'm Judy Mitchell. I am your local Longboat Key Realtor. My business is really just focused on Longboat Key, and that's really because I live here. And in this video today, I am going to give you the scoop on what is selling in Longboat. And if you are thinking about buying or selling, this video is for you. Okay, so July gives me a lot to talk about, and I mean a lot. Let's break down everything that's been happening this month. And I want to compare it to where we were a year ago and talk about the numbers. And, honestly, it tells such an interesting story. Okay, right now, we have 249 homes for sale on Longboat Key. That's condos, single-family homes, villas, and also townhouses. And the price range is wide as always, anywhere from $295,000 all the way up to $38 million. Now, that kind of spread tells you on this island, we truly have something for everyone. Any kind of buyer, whether it's like a cozy little condo or villa, honestly, to a full-blown waterfront estate. Now, beyond the for sale listings, we have 51 homes pending right now. That's a lot for this time of year. But here's where it gets really interesting. We had 49 closings with a median sales price in July, and that came out at $1.4 million. Now, sellers were getting about 94% of their asking price. Now, if you compare that to last July, we saw just 33 sales at a median price of $850,000. And sellers were getting like 90% of lists. Now that is a massive jump from last year to this year. It's a 65% increase in median price. But before you assume that every home on Longboat Key has suddenly gotten more expensive, let me explain to you what's really going on here. I would say, when we really look at it, the higher end buyer has really come back to the market. We're seeing more activity in the high-end homes on the island than we did this time last year, and mainly in the south end of the island, where those communities have really done a great job repairing, landscaping, and also putting their lobbies back together that were previously damaged by the storms. So now those units are selling. So it's really a shift in who's buying and what's selling. It's not just a blanket increase across every single property. Now, also, days on market have gone up a little bit from 91 days this time last year up to 119 days this year. So homes are taking a little bit longer to sell, but honestly, sellers are getting closer to their asking price. So that's good news. That means that homes are being priced right. Now, the bulk of our inventory, of course, is condos here on Longboat Key. So let's, zoom in and kind of focus on those numbers. In July in 2025, we saw just 21 condos sold, and they had a median price of $600,000. And that was 90% of list price and running about 60 days on market. Now, this July, 37 condos sold. And, that's a jump in volume, but also the biggest jump is in median price. It went from $600,000 up to $1,087,000 at 96% of list price and 84 days on market. So not only are we seeing more condos selling, really in the higher end, but they're selling closer to asking price, which is great news for the sellers. Now, on the single family home side, we had 9 homes sold this month. And I'll say I was very proud to be part of that number because personally I represented one of those sales for single family homes in the month of July. Now, but the overall median price for single family homes in July was $3,350,000, which is 93% of list price at 162 days on market. So, it just takes longer to sell a single family home than a condo on Longboat Key. It's just kind of how it is. Now, last year at this time, we saw 8 single family homes, so that's about even, but the median price was only $1.1 million, or 87% of list price at 137 days on market. So big difference in what homes are selling. Now, what's really driving those bigger numbers Last year, a lot of our activity was like in the value price communities. So Longboat Harbor, for example, Sea Place, Windward Bay. And on the single family home side, a lot of the distressed properties were selling. These are the homes that had been flooded, so they were selling at a low price. This year, the action has, completely shifted toward the higher end communities. Now, the lower price communities are also selling, but we're seeing more sales in the higher price communities like Queens Harbor, Country Club Shores, a couple of sales in the Promenade, multiple sales, including listing of my own in the Players Club. So that shift in what is selling is like a huge part of why our median price looks so different year over year. It's like less about appreciation across the board and more about a different segment of the market being active right now. So to sum it up, our inventory right now is at 249 homes and condos on the market. The higher end buyer has returned to Longboat Key, and sellers are getting just closer to their asking price, meaning they're pricing more accurately. So in the mix of like why everything has sold, I would say a big influence is really the higher end condos that are selling at the south end of the island. So there's a lot to unpack there. I hope that it's clear. I know it's a lot of numbers, but understanding exactly the specifics of your community and, looking at the overall median price and understanding the trends, super important, but your community and, what's really selling within your neighborhood is really what is most important. And when it comes down to it, and really understanding like an apples to apples comparison, that's what we have to look at when we're pricing your home. Or if you're purchasing, we really want to look at that apples to apples comparison so you know if the price that you're offering is smart. So that's how we get predictability in the market, and that's how you get a great understanding of real value, whether you're buying or selling, not just looking at the headline numbers, if you will. So anyway, if you're thinking about buying or selling, I would say it's so important to talk to a local real estate agent like myself. I live on the island, I work on the island, I am so micro-focused on all the various communities on the island, and that's what you really have to look at. Do not look at the big headlines in the newspapers or the bigger trends. Really, you have to focus on comparing apples to apples. So if you're selling, let's talk about timing. Let's talk about how to prepare your property. Which homes are selling, because of what kind of condition they're in. Are they priced accurately? So we have to plan ahead when you're selling. In addition, we also have to look at the big picture when you're buying. So if you're buying and you're just starting your prices, don't hesitate to call me because buying on Longboat Key is a process. You have to kind of narrow down what you want, what type of property you want, where on the island you'd like to be located, and then we start looking at the value comparison in your price point. So my name is Judy Mitchell. I'm a realtor here on Longboat Key. My office is located right next to Publix, but I would say if you're interested, put a comment here on my Facebook page and I answer every single comment that's posted. But also feel free to call me. You can reach me at 941-275-6838. Thanks so much for watching this video.